The morning sun barely peeked over the horizon when Tom Weaver trudged into the neighborhood clubhouse. His work boots caked with fresh mud, a crate of eggs nestled under one arm. No pressed khakis or shiny loafers for him, just faded denim overalls and hands roughened by years of tilling soil. The air inside buzzed with whispers and stifled laughs before he even sat down. Tom wasn't like the others, and they made sure he knew it. Margaret Hensley, the HOA president with her starched blazer and a smile sharper than a switchblade, leaned toward her board and muttered, loud enough for the room to catch, "He thinks a few eggs make up for those chickens scratching up our lawns." Snickers rippled through the crowd. Another voice hissed, "I swear his donkey chewed my fence last week." By the time Margaret rapped her gavel, the room reeked of smug superiority, and Tom, unfazed, just sat there, his steady gaze cutting through the mockery like a plow through hard dirt. Nobody in that room could have guessed the man they ridiculed had once led tank battalions through war zones, his calm born not of weakness, but of battles they'd never understand. They saw a farmer. He knew power didn't come from rulebooks, or findsit came from patience, the kind forged in fire. The meeting droned on, all about beautification that meant beige fences and manicured lawns. Margaret listed violations with glee. A neighbor's grass half an inch too tall, a garage door painted the wrong shade of cream, and Tom's crime is sunflowers, apparently, were too aggressive for the petunias next door. She didn't even glance his way when she called his farm a rustic eyesore. Tom raised a hand, and the room froze. He'd never spoken before. Margaret's lips twitched. "Yes, Mr. Weaver." Standing, he tipped his straw hat and said, clear as a bell, "My house, my barn, my land, it was all here before your HOA drew its first breath. Your rules don't touch me." Murmurs stirred. Margaret's eyes narrowed, but she snapped, "Legacy zoning doesn't exempt you from standards." Tom nodded, sat, and said no more. The tension hung like smoke. The meeting ended with fines approved, insults slung, and Tom's eggs ignored beside stale bagels. As he left, someone muttered, "Maybe he'll bring his pigs to perform next time." Laughter chased him out, but Tom didn't flinch. That night, on his porch overlooking fields his family had worked for generations, he sipped coffee and thought not of pigs, but of spectacle. The HOA only respected control, and he had plenty, just not the kind they expected. A letter arrived the next day. Due law $300 for his donkey. Due law $150 for unsanctioned tomatoes. Due law $75 for a hand-painted sign reading Weaver's Farm. It threatened legal action. Tom read it, then glanced at his barn, where something slept under a tarp, untouched for years. Margaret wasn't done. She scheduled a compliance walkthrough on Tom's land, ignoring his warnings about jurisdiction. She strutted onto his property with 2 board members, snapping photos and sneering. "This barn's an eyesore, bulldoze it if he doesn't comply." Tom watched from his porch, sipping lemonade, and said softly, "You're trespassing. This land's county protected." Margaret scoffed, "We'll see what the city says." She kept snapping pictures, oblivious us to the storm brewing. That night, a local kid posted a video online. Margaret mocking Tom's farm, chased off by his donkey. It went viral. Comments flooded in. "Tom gave us peaches during the drought. Isn't he ex-military?" The town turned on the HOA. Tom didn't post. It didn't even know until a reporter called. He declined the interview. Fame wasn't his game. But the HOA doubled down. They cut his irrigation pipe and locked his water valve in the dead of night, caught on Tom's trail cams. He saved the footage, sent it to a friend at the agriculture department, and waited. Margaret, clueless, hosted a smug HOA meeting in her driveway, joking about finding Tom for weeds blowing into my yard. Across the street, Tom fed his fire pit and whispered, "Dig your hole deeper." Then Carl Thompson, an old Army buddy turned USDA inspector, showed up. He examined the locked valve and whistled. "This is a felony if it hits your crops, Tom." He filed a report, took 064 some eggs for the road, and grinned. Just like old times. The crops withered without water. Margaret led another walkthrough, gloating over the damage. A reporter, tipped off by the video, filmed it all, catching Margaret's boast. We're reclaiming our community, one donkey at a time. The news aired alongside Tom's footage of the nighttime sabotage. The town erupted. Emails swamped the HOA. A diner offered Tom free burgers for life. Margaret called it out of context, but her confidence cracked. Yet she pushed harder, slapping Tom with a $700 fine for environmental disruption. He read it, then walked to his barn and pulled back the tarp. Underneath was Iron Resolve, a restored M60 patent tank, legal for parades but fearsome as hell. Tom ran a hand over its steel and muttered, "Let's give him a real show." Sunday morning sparkled, perfect for the HOA's brunch on the cul-de-sac. Margaret, sun hat pristine, spun tales of Tom as a rogue farmer threatening their modern lifestyle. Then a rumble shook the air low, primal, like thunder with teeth. Glasses rattled. Dogs howled. The ground quaked as Iron Resolve rolled into VYEW, gleaming olive steel dwarfing cars and egos. Tom sat in the hatch, sunglasses on, calm as ever. The tank stopped dead center, claiming 4 HOA parking spots. Silence swallowed the crowd. Tom climbed down, dusted his hands, and adjusted a sign on the tank. Respect the land or face the steel. He picked up Margaret's name placard, steadied a wobbling pitcher, and spoke. You cut my water, tore my crops, fake citations, and mocked my home. I gave you eggs. You gave me fines. I'm done being quiet. Margaret's face burned red. She stammered, "This is intimidation." Tom's eyebrow lifted. You crossed that line first. Sirens wailed. Sheriffs and an agriculture inspector rolled up, heading straight for Margaret with a stack of documents, Tom's footage, legal filings, USDA complaints. An officer nodded at the tank. Nice paint. My uncle rode one. Tom nodded back. So did mine. Margaret was escorted away, her protests fading. By dusk, Tom parked the tank at his property's edge, setting out free vegetables with a sign, "No fines, just food." Neighbors, once cold, now took squash and thanked him. The HOA's website went dark. Margaret's reign was over. The investigation snowballed. A worker admitted the HOA lied about owning Tom's land. A board member quit, ashamed. The city curbed HOA power. Margaret ran it online, claiming Tom trained his donkey to attack. Nobody bought it. The tank became a legend, kids posed with it. A muralist painted it with fields and the words "Stand Steady." Neighbors donated land for a community garden. Margaret's house sold to a couple who planted wildflowers. The HOA, gutted, got new leaders and strict oversight. Tom didn't join. He just wanted his farm. One summer night, Tom sat on his porch, lemonade in hand, the tank glowing under string lights. Kids biked by, wah-vee-wah-ing. He waved back. His land was his again, not by rage, but by grit and a silence louder than any shout. The fight he didn't pick, he'd ended with dignity and steel. What do you think? Was Tom a hero for standing his ground? Or did he go too far with the tank? Should HOAs have any power over private land? Or are they just petty tyrants? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you're Team Tom, and subscribe for more stories where the underdog bites back.